Mark, I'm going to pick on you again. And you go, okay, I need somebody to take pictures on aerial imagery of my house. Imagine how many other structures and cars, privately owned cars, maybe boats, are within 500 feet of where we'd have to fly to take pictures of your house. So we have to go out and get permission from all those owners. We can't just notify them, we have to get permission from those owners to be able to do that. And that's not to say it can't be done, it's just an extra level of due diligence you might have to go through to get that. Or it might be virtually impossible. Like if we were going to try to fly here, it'd be virtually impossible to do that because you could not, it'd be hard to identify all the various owners that would be in this airspace, in addition to some of the other restrictions. Certainly we have safety requirements that we have to comply with. We have reporting requirements that we have to comply with. This is that provision, what we affectionately call the project killer, paragraph 26 of our exemption, or 26B as I refer to it. The people are less hard to work with because there's not maybe a lot of people like your neighbor's house won't fly, but the structure can't be moved. So that's a hard restriction that's difficult to get around. And we're hopeful that when the new UAS rule comes to play, that restriction will be loosened up a little bit. So within that, understanding now that we're providing commercial services, you're going to be buying commercial services, or rather the services you need to have will fall under the commercial use. If you're buying the service, it falls under commercial use, period. So I want to give you a few sets of rules guidelines that you should look at when you get ready to hire those services. Just a few basic questions you should ask the operator. So do you have a Section 333 exemption? When you're talking to a potential operator, they should be able to answer yes. Yes, we do. Ask for a copy of the exemption. When you do it, ask for a copy of the exemption and the COA, and that will tell you then what rules they have to comply with. It's possible that they have less restrictive rules than we do because of the way they apply for their exemption. All the ones we have seen read the same as ours. But nevertheless, ask for a copy that'll validate their legal operator. Do you have UAS insurance? Normal business insurance does not cover aviation operation. My general liability policy does not cover my flight services. So, and also, if a company does not have an exemption, they likely don't have insurance. I can't say for a fact that none will offer insurance to unexempted companies, but all the companies we talk to insist on a copy of our valid exemption and a copy of our pilot's license before they would give us an insurance policy. Will the aircraft be operated by a licensed pilot? It seems silly, you're an exempted company, I met one, I met two, why would I fly without a licensed pilot? We've seen several companies that have an exemption, but don't seem to have either read or cared and know what the exemption actually says. So they're operating directly in violation of their exemption. So ask for, are you flying with licensed pilots? Yes or no? That's a current rule set that's going to change perhaps. Ask for a copy of their license. And finally ask them, do you comply with your COA? Do you comply with the rules set of your COA? That's the rules that went through, the highlights. If you go through those 4 steps, when you're thinking about hiring UAS services, then you'll know that you're dealing with a properly exempted, legally operating, responsible UAS company. Okay? Any questions? Thanks for your attention. I'm going to fly a little bit over here if you want to watch what we're doing and cheer for me if I don't crash.